What's going on, everybody? I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Happy Thursday, the day before Halloween, Halloween Eve. But anyway, I hope you're all having a magnificent day. I know I am. But anyway, thank you to my friends, family, neighbors, YouTube subscribers, viewers, eBay customers, everybody across the board. You're all amazing. I really, really appreciate the support. The channel continues to grow on a daily basis because of all of you. But to continue that growth, I need your help. So if you like what you see and you enjoy the content, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, comment in the comment section below, hit the bell to receive notifications. And if you want to help to support the channel, check out my eBay store, the Carolina Collector 001. The link is in the description box of every video and short that I upload here on YouTube. So let's get right into this. Oh boy, am I really going to rattle some feathers with this video. So many of you that have been watching the channel and following my story, I was at the World Trade Center in 2001 from September 12th to September 16th, 2001, and I was exposed to all of those dangerous chemicals when Christy Todd Whitman said, oh yeah, the air is safe, go in there. You know why? We were disposable monkeys. Who cares? You know, a handful of politicians were in there. Union delegates from my union in New York were in there. Unfortunately for me, for the 5 days that I was there, I ended up diagnosed with, or being diagnosed with something called sarcoidosis. And as a result of seeing what I saw, because I was there the very next day after the thing happened, I saw some pretty horrific and gruesome things, which I'm not going to talk about in this video for obvious reasons. But the simple fact of the matter is that, you know, it affected me adversely. And as a result of having all that toxic stew in my body, it put me out of a very fruitful career in union construction, specifically in union plumbing that I went to school for and everything else. I had a love-hate relationship with it anyway, but hey, let me tell you, at the end of the day, it was honest work. It was hard work, but it was honest work. But unfortunately, I couldn't do it no more. I was having breathing issues and all that kind of thing. I had an endoscopy done where they sent the camera into my lungs and they seen I had something called nodules, which are basically clumps of cells in my lungs that my body was attacking itself because of this chemical reaction that went on over years and years and years from being exposed to the toxins at that site. And it put me out of a very, very awesome career. Albeit, again, I say, you know, I had a love-hate relationship with it because, man, it's hard work. Construction is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart, man. You know, my dad, you know, had me born and raised into it. He wanted me to become a police officer. I wanted to become a comic book artist, but sometimes you just have to go where God leads you to. You have to go down that path. That's his way. You know, so let God's will be done if you're a believer in religion. But over time, when I moved down here, I got a fresh start. I was homeless for a year. I am receiving disability, and I collect a small pension. I had to go to court and fight for that. Imagine that. An American citizen, an American-born citizen, with multiple generations of my family who were born here and worked here, I had to fight in court for years and years and years to have all the wonderful and beautiful things you see behind me. Believe me, I take nothing for granted. I don't take this magic marker for granted. I don't take these sticky notes for granted. I don't take the Scotch tape for granted. I don't take my jerseys, my shirts. I don't take anything for granted. I appreciate every little morsel of food that's on my food. I appreciate all my friendships, you know, and people today just don't care until you go through like what I went through, and then you finally realize what reality truly is, what it is to survive, what it is just to find a bite to eat. And then finally, after 20 odd years of fighting for the damn thing with the James Androga bill, after multiple lawsuits that I filed, finally the money was starting to come in. I gave money to my family. I paid off all my debts. At least to my knowledge, all of my debts are paid off as far as I'm aware of. But I got a lot of my credit card debts and all that kind of stuff paid off. And I decided to endeavor to get all new furniture, all new clothes, all that kind of stuff. I gave my money. I gave some of my money to my family. When my father was alive, I sent him stuff that he needed. I bought him a beard and mustache trimmer and ordered him food and ordered him all sorts of things to help him at home, you know, like handrails for his toilet so he could pick himself up and sit himself down. So I didn't have to worry about him taking a flop. You know, and handrails for the shower and bathroom and all that kind of stuff. You know, I sent my sister, my brother, everybody in my family money. And whatever I had left, I put into my eBay business. With all that being said, let me tell you, living on the streets for a year, you learn what it is to have nothing. and what it is, to fight for every little scrap. I would not wish that on my worst enemy, and when I came down here because of the nature of my income, I still, to this day, qualify for food stamps if I so chose to go back and get them again, but I will not. And I have a reason for that. There's several reasons, actually, but one main reason. But I was on food stamps for about 2 or 3 years, something like that, and I was getting quite the amount of money for food stamps, especially during the COVID era. And because of the nature of my illnesses and stuff like that from the trade center, I was getting approximately $400 for myself every month. But when I moved to this property, obviously my benefits were reduced after the whole COVID thing ended. So my benefits were reduced. But by the time I moved to this property, which is now about 2 years, something like that, I'm actually paying less rent, which means more money in the envelope, so to speak, which means now I'm over that threshold, which means my benefits got reduced to like $25 or something like that. And I had to pay back the county $3,500. And thank God I was smart enough to save enough money in my bank account to take that money out and pay off this debt to the county. And I took the food card, the EBT card, put it inside the envelope with the payment, with a personal check, mailed it out to the Department of Health, finished with food stamps. I've been off of food stamps now for going on 2 years. And I tell you what, it's the best thing I ever did. Being in the system like I am, unfortunately, you don't want to be completely attached to the system because the system will want something from you or it will take something back off of you when you least expect it. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Having this business, I operate within the numbers allowed by Social Security. If you're on permanent disability and under the retirement age, there are numbers you have to follow and abide by either monthly and or annually, which I do. I filed taxes last year. Otherwise, they'll garnish your pay. So I operate within those boundaries. But because I was getting too much money in my pocket, was that 2 years ago, whenever it was, I literally mailed that thing back. But the system will hook you. The system demands that you give something in return. Your slavish obedience. And not only that, when you're on the system and you're getting everything for free, this will be you. Oh my God, I have to get up and cook? Let me go get some microwavable burritos. Oh, you mean I have to walk? I have to get up and think? Oh, look at me. I have to do physical labor now. It turns you into a lazy good for nothing. You become lazy. You become detached. You have to use your brain. Human beings are designed to be problem solvers, in particular men. We are supposed to be the providers. We are supposed to be the problem solvers. And we need things to do. We are also social creatures. Completely isolating yourself and becoming an isolationist, will essentially turn you into something very scary. Because once you become that introverted, the outside world, when it crosses your path, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to start whining, complaining, you're going to get angry, and fights break out and all this kind of stuff. You become what I call personally inconvenienced. All these people that are bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining about food stamps being taken away and SNAP, it's because they got comfortable. They got comfortable. Unless it's on paper, like with me, all my stuff I had to fight for in court for years and years and years and years. And what did it get me for doing the right thing for society by risking my life at that World Trade Center site, trying to find human beings? And everything else I've ever done in my life with people slandering me and stomping on me online, getting harassing phone calls and death threats and calls to the leasing office and all that kind of stuff. That's what I get in return from jealous people because I earned it. I fucking earned it. I earned the right to sit on my cloud because I worked for it. I did something that I consider to be noble and worthy of the things that I have. And I had a fight in court. But then meanwhile, certain other people, especially the ones that climb over the fences and dig tunnels under the fences, are handed fucking everything. And this is why the great pumpkin in the White House is doing what he's doing. I'm not bashing every single immigrant that's in this country. I come from immigrant roots, all right? 1700s, my family came off the banana boat from Germany and settled here in this country, okay? So I come from immigrant roots as well. But at least my family prospered. We gave up our culture. I'm the only one that probably still celebrates the traditional Oktoberfest, for example. But my family chose to become Americanized. Would you look at that? Instead of having two fucking national anthems, I sing one, the one that belongs to this country, not "We Shall Overcome" or "It Takes All of Us" or whatever the fuck this new national anthem is that they sing every Super Bowl. One national anthem, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. But in order to buy votes like the Democrats have, they will give everybody everything. Like this Mondani, whatever his name is in New York, that's his plan as well, giving everything to everyone for free. Well, who's going to pay for all this shit? You guessed it, people that have worked hard all their life to build a career and build a business. And who are smart, much smarter than I am. I mean, I'm a small potatoes business owner working out of my living room from an Amazon desk that cost me $150. You know what I mean? I'm a 100 heir. You know what I mean? I'm not making a ton of money. But these are people that were much more smarter and earned their right to be millionaires. They did something that we didn't. They used their fucking brains and invented some cool gadget or reinvented the cell phone or did some kind of thing with pharmaceuticals or whatever have you. They're much smarter than the rest of us. You know, look at Elon Musk and Bezos, for example. They did something smarter than we did. Good for them. They should be rich because they fucking earned it. Now you who want to put their "Hello, my name is" sticker on me, fat, black, trans, gay, cross-dresser, guilty white liberal with fish hooks in my cheeks and tattoos across my forehead, you know, big fat overweight pile of, you know, blubbering protoplasm, you know, with big boobs or a belly that looks like this that you can't see your penis or, you know, the clamshell downstairs, demands and commands you get free things because the politician promised you that if they give you free things, you'll vote for them. That's the whole trick, is to get you latched on to the system like a leech. And your freedom and your identity will disappear. Believe me, I almost fell for it myself. All right? You don't want to be a slave to the system because once you're a slave to the system, they own you. And once you get comfortable and you're sitting on the system's chair and you lay back like you're in a lazy boy chair, and you don't have to do anything, and that gets all of it taken away from you all of a sudden, well, that's your own fault for slavish obedience. Slavish obedience. Let me tell you, I learned a great deal from my dad, what he went through, especially when I was still in school as a young kid, going into high school, from junior high school to high school, when our three local unions merged, Local 1, Local 2, and 371. Work was all fucked up. Pension money disappeared all over the place. My poor dad, what he did to put food on the table for all of us, especially around the holidays, around this time of the year, what he did. Going to churches, going to food pantries, going to Long Island City in New York at that time to get literal food stamps. They weren't EBT cards, swipe cards like they are now. They were literally a book of stamps. They almost look like dollar bills or something to that effect. They look like printed currency in a book. He would sit there for hours, like now, not, you know, everything's automated now, but back then with the push button and the rotary phone, he would sit there for hours and have the phone sitting on the table like this, stressed out, drinking, smoking, you know, just looking to put money in the pocket and pay rent, you know, and put food in our bellies. God bless you, Dad. I love you for doing that. He's right. I got his photo right here talking about it because he knows this is the truth. Because as the oldest of three, I experienced it firsthand, what this poor guy went through to take care of us. And you lazy fucks are complaining that you're losing your food stamps. Some of you single moms should have your food stamps taken away, in my opinion, because you didn't learn to close your legs. And a lot of you got 12 kids. A lot of you are severely and morbidly obese and overweight because you got used to eating the potato chips and the M&Ms and the fucking cupcakes because you're sitting back doing nothing. And now the system wants you to put back into it like I'm doing right now by running an LLC, a small business from my home. And you know what? I feel enlightened doing that. I feel useful, especially as a man. If you're a testosterone-driven man like I am, and you know what's between your legs, and you're not trying to, you know, go, here, I'm a he, her, it, what, who pronoun thing. You know what I mean? I know what's between my legs. I know what my Adam's apple's for. You know, I know I'm a man, period. I don't wear dresses. Not my thing. I love women, biological women. Hot, sexy, thin. Smells good, takes care of themselves, feminine, you know, not a boss bitch or anything like that. But the point being is I'm a traditional man and I like traditional women, period. But you people have got way, way too used to being part of that system. And now you're being personally inconvenienced and you don't like it. I feel enlightened as a man. I feel useful again, even though, yeah, I'm dealing with pictures of men in the form of sports cards. But you know what? It keeps me busy. It keeps my mind functioning. I can't. I used to be like this. That's what led me to drinking. That's what led me to taking, and I mentioned this in one of my live streams recently, getting heavily addicted to painkillers and all that kind of stuff. And I've been off of that stuff even recently, except for, by the way, I am throwing a Halloween party tomorrow. A little itty bitty one. Nothing big like I did last year. Just a little spoiler alert, by the way, for my regular viewers. Yes, I'm fucking doing it because I can. Because I want to. I shouldn't have that taken away from me, by the way. I'm doing it anyway. And even if I don't, I'll be live streaming here on YouTube as Freddy Krueger. But anyway, we're getting off course. The simple fact of the matter is that people got way too lazy and way too comfortable. That's what it is. They think they deserve it because of their skin color or their skin flaps with the Cocoa Puff moles with the cactus needles coming out of it. And they have the lady mustaches and the tattoos on their cheeks with the fucking septum rings, the door knockers in their rings, in their noses, whatever you call them. This shit. You don't deserve anything. You fucking earn it. In nature, animals earn their right to be at the top of the food chain. Only the strongest will survive. Yes, we're human beings. Yeah, we should be a little bit above that sort of thing. I get that. We're not tree-swinging monkeys. Understood. We're the only species on this planet that clothes ourselves. But we're also the only species that murders each other for personal gain or revenge or jealousy. Animals don't do that. They kill each other to feed and to survive and to pass on the good genes. But you've let yourself get way too comfortable. You've let yourself be bought by the system that wants to enslave you, which means you enslave yourself. Don't you have any self-esteem? Don't you look in a mirror? Don't you have any character about you? Don't you have any confidence at all? When I took one look at my dad's photo after he died, I'm like, man, this man, he did drink quite a bit. He smoked a lot. He was a bit of a bully, but one thing he did teach me is to survive. And he survived, and he put food in our stomach when it mattered the most. He went out there, and he did what he had to do. And eventually, the job started up again. He went back to work, et cetera, and got himself back off of the system because he lived, he ate, he breathed construction. And he put that in me in some form. Unfortunately, my career's ended since 2011. And now I found myself here being my own boss, sacrificing personal time. I can go to bars and restaurants all day long. I could try to pretend to be a man and try to hit on women and all that kind of stuff. I don't. I stay home. What's the point? I might as well keep myself busy. I've lost close to 100 pounds. My health is better than it's ever been. I've regained a lot of my self-esteem. And plus, with certain things that have happened in my personal life this year, I've cut ties with a lot of people because I don't need toxicity around me. And people that are part of that system and want to drag me down to their level. Fuck that. Nope. Wrong. Oh, but you're a racist and a Trump supporter and a homophobe and an isn't. Stop making excuses. As Oats and Goats would say, as speedrunner Oats and Goats would say, stop making excuses and execute. Even that young fella knows it too. He may not be political and all that kind of stuff, but it's a good point to make. Stop making excuses. You're the problem, not us. Why? This is a form of communism and socialism. You're taking out of my pocket and using it for Twinkies, Mike and Ike's, chocolate bars, and potato chips. Meanwhile, a guy like me, who's on permanent disability, who has real medical issues, has decided to lose almost 100 pounds and does the right thing for himself, takes supplements because I care about my health and my self-esteem, and does the right thing with the money. Plus, I pay my bills. I got my rent early. I paid my rent early this month, by the way, just so everybody knows. Thank you, eBay customers, for your help with that, too. In other words, put all that off to the side. You're wasting our time. Nobody cares. Okay? You've been way too comfortable for way too long. And now that I'm doing this and been through homelessness and know what it's like not to have food, trust me when I'm telling you. When you put yourself into that system, it's very difficult to get yourself out. You become absolutely and completely attached to it like a leech. You don't want that. It's a parasitic twin that needs to be cut off. And besides, all these people that are complaining about EBT, this was meant to be a temporary solution to a temporary problem. Okay? Here, I never thought I'd be selling sports cards and being a business owner, but I'm doing it. It's not my first choice in life to do, is sitting here taking photos of men. I mean, Or taking photos of men and listing them on eBay, by the way. Forgive me, you guys know I don't script my videos. But you know what I mean. Okay, I'm selling photographs of men on eBay. I never thought I'd be doing it, but I'm doing it. And you know what? I'm actually damn happy that I'm doing it because I'm in charge of myself. And I don't have to depend on the government. I don't have to depend on food stamps, EBT, or any of that other stuff. Everything else I fought long and hard for. And you know what? I earned it and I deserve it. Regardless and despite what some people out there may say, it's mine and you can't have it. A lot of these jobs like McDonald's, Burger King, they were never meant to be permanent jobs. They were meant to be entry-level jobs that teach you responsibility about what it is to get a real fucking job. Flipping hamburgers is not a career. Unless you're looking to get into management somehow and business, yeah, you can go that route as well. I call that the backdoor route instead of going through college. You're actually learning with your hands. There's book smart and then there's field smart. Most construction workers, well, any decent tradesman will know. There's book smart and there's what's on the field. Sometimes they don't jive. The numbers don't work out and you got to make things work. That's where the brain comes in. You have to use your brain. You have to use your body. I love walking back and forth to the post office. It gets me outside. It gets some fresh air in my lungs. I'm not here dipping Twinkies in ranch dressing in my belly button and eating it and gaining 500 pounds like I see all these people on YouTube bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining with bull rings in their nose. Yeah, I take my food benefit. Mother effer, I'm going to rob your ass. What if I come in your home? That's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. And it's legal here in North Carolina, by the way. Keep that in mind. Every citizen here in North Carolina has the right, no matter who may be watching this video, anyone walks through my door uninvited, I have the right to exercise lethal force. That's a law on the books here in North Carolina when all else fails. Period. End of discussion. And these people are threatening to go and rob Walmart. So you're going to go and rob from other people just to satisfy yourself? You want to satisfy yourself? Go work at Lowe's. Work at Walmart. There are plenty of people out there making minimum wage, pushing shopping carts around, gathering shopping carts from the parking lot. I'm sure there's plenty of gum that needs to be scraped off the concrete. Hey, at least you're making some money and it's on the books and you're putting it away for Social Security when you retire. I can't feel sorry for people like this because I've been through it. I know what it's like, man. You don't want to be part of that. Once the government has you hooked, especially when it comes to left-wing fascist socialist Democrats, that'll allow criminals to run around in the street because they're looking to reduce the population by allowing these people to go and continue to kill. They want people to fight with each other. They want people to die. They want people to leave the planet. All they care about is slavish obedience. Isn't the Democrat Party the party of slavery? Isn't the Republican Party responsible for marching into Galveston, Texas to free the rest of the slaves during the Civil War or post-Civil War? I think so. Frederick Douglass, who was he? Oh, black Republican, right? Underground Railroad, something or other, I forget. Of course, I'm being facetious. Of course, I know those things because I keep them in my brain because it's fucking relevant. You don't want to be a slave to the system. Believe me when I'm telling you. Get out of the system that way. Fulfill yourself by doing something. Take a fucking risk like I did. Every last time that I had left over from all those lawsuits, I poured into this little business of mine. And I couldn't be any more happier because I'm in charge of myself. I don't have the tax man, coming looking for handouts. I don't have this city entity looking for handouts and taxes. The state entity, or politicians. Well, I gave you those food stamps. Now vote for me. And that's the trick. And you suckers fell for it. SNAP, food stamps, all that stuff. Medicaid, it was never meant to be permanent. It was a temporary solution to a temporary problem. Unless you're severely disabled or found disabled by the courts like I was, the rest of these people are just grifters. I feel sorry for a lot of people that they're going to be suffering for a while. But at this point, it's nothing but slavish obedience to people that want you to vote for them, and that's it. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. Don't do it. Do like what I do. Start a small business. Doesn't have to be fancy like my business. Mine's not fancy at all. Shit, I'm using a fucking fold-up picnic table as a secondary table when I run out of space. So you don't have to be fancy. Not everything has to be, fancy wallpaper and shiny shit. Everything I got here is I get for dirt cheap from multiple sources here throughout the States. And if I have to get it from overseas, so be it. As long as I can get it for a decent price. You actually learn things in business. There are things I never knew about business. Now that I run my own business, I kind of get where these people are coming from now. When you have to cut costs and all that kind of thing, because it can cost you money. It can cost you your own money. When you have two separate sources of income, it can actually cost your main source of income, not your business income. You learn these things. I love that. Everything I've done so far is self-taught, and that just boosts my esteem. Makes me more confident. Makes me more aware of things. Unfortunately, sometimes I fuck up. We all fuck up. But you don't need them. And they certainly don't need you. You're disposable. Haven't you figured that out yet? They want you to go out there and start robbing stores. They don't care about you. Do better. I did. I'm your host, the Carolina Collector. Take care, everybody.